Welcome back, everybody. Sive here with the ForexPeaceArmy.com. Let's update our view on the euro currency. Yesterday was a holiday in the United States and Canada, so it's not a lot of changes that we've got recent our discussion in weekends. Still, a couple of moments we need to talk about. On the daily chart, you could see that situation mostly stands the same, so we do not have any changes. Context remains bearish, so we have two side-by-side bearish grabbers that have not been erased by far. And although trend is not currently important, just because we have directional patterns, still MACD also points down. Market is not at oversold area, so potentially nothing prevents it from possible deep downside action. On the 4-hour time frame chart, you could see that after it's kind of the rally here, we have so slow downside action, kind of some pressure exists here, although this is not normal performance for any bearish ABCD pattern. So usually when the market forms the bearish pattern, the extension leg, which actually should be most powerful, or at least this is impulse leg, compares to retracement, it should be stronger. So here we see that it seems that euro doesn't want to go down, but in the current circumstances, something is pushing it lower. Particularly speaking, on a 4-hour time frame chart, what we could consider, for example, it might be some kind of the butterfly pattern. This might be formed with these different targets. So you could see, so we have 1815 and 1795. There's two possible extensions of the butterfly if it will be formed. So currently it's difficult to say how deep this action might be, but if we still consider short-term context, it's possible a reversal around support areas. The butterfly definitely one of the patterns that we could keep an eye on and on its target, because butterflies, we know, bullish reversal pattern in the current situation, and it might become the point where the action could change. But it's not. I'm not sure. Why actually there's not a lot of confidence with this decision? Just because if you take a look on other markets, you could see that dollar is rising, following the same grabbers. And what is more interesting is take a look what's going on in 10-year bonds. It's just collapsed. So this huge demand for the United States bonds stands right now. I suspect that it might be because of the Iran. So United States is accumulating big power there. It's already been some hints on a possible land operation that could last for a few weeks. It's really serious, and that might be the reason why actually this is happening. In the current background, it's very difficult to count on the weakness of the dollar. So currently the geopolitical factors intrude in overall situation, and despite that, as we said in the weekend, this is not typical type of action. It's very slow, it's not normal. From a technical point of view, I wouldn't hurry up with the decision making long entry immediately. So this is, I don't like what I see here on the bonds. And that very soon might make impact on the dollar, which also will show the upward continuation here. So it's risks here exist. On the lower time frames, if we take a look at the hourly chart, actually market has reached the first points that we have discussed. If you remember, we're considering big Gartner's triple 2, but in the weekend we said take a look here based on the BC swing. You also could recognize smaller type ABCD pattern and Gartner's triple 2. And market currently stands right near the lows. In other circumstances, we could say, well, this is nice. Agreement support. Market also is completing this big ABCD COP extension, and that might be a good background for a possible temporal pullback. And maybe it is. So, but with the things that I said just a few minutes ago, chances on a possible breakout and turning of this triple 2 into butterfly really significant. Besides, you can see that the big butterfly here, its target 1794, as we said, it perfectly agrees with the downside ABCD OP target around the same level. So that probably will be the next destination. What we're gonna do, what we could do in general currently. The only thing that more or less suitable in current circumstances, at least for those of you who would like to take the long position, you need to drop your time frame more to the 15-minute chart, for example, and see what is going on there. So if you could find some bullish minor bullish pattern, you could try to take it, because in this situation, overall action you can see very choppy, and it might happen that at least the 30% pullback we could get somewhere to the 1860 for 35-40 pips, which is a well acceptable result for the scalp trading. That's what you could do in the current circumstances. This is well relatively attractive, just because your position will be very close to invalidation point, which stands right here. Your risk will be minimal, and if you use intraday pattern, some lower time frames pattern, your risk will be even smaller. From that standpoint of view, it's more or less acceptable. So this attempt with the pattern on the back, theoretically it is possible. But this is just for some short-term pullback here. Currently, in these circumstances, with the performance of the 10-year bonds and what I see here, in the current moment, well, longer-term position, it's not really very attractive. So I would prefer to wait a bit and see what will happen. For bearish positions, with the grabbers that we have, if they will get some progress, well, why not? It's also possible. But a reaction on this Gartley steeple to with some pullback, this might be also a good opportunity to consider a possible short position. If we will decide to go down, and market will just show us more confidence with this bearish background. But that probably will come later in the week. We will see. For now, just if you a scalp trader and you think about long position taking, you could act with the plan that we discussed. If you're trading mostly on higher time frames, in the current circumstances, since we have the bearish context and we do not have clear bullish signs, in the current circumstances, I wouldn't consider taking a long position by far, and just see what will happen.